2/3 of Americans are at risk to experience blackout. You could be one of them, sitting in the dark and cold for hours, for days, maybe even weeks. Are you ready to protect your family? You could be with Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X. Folks say this new solar generator from 4 Patriots is worth its weight in gold. Why? Because this generator has double the capacity and is expandable so you can run the big appliances like your fridge even longer. Or other devices like an electric blanket, microwave, RV air conditioner, or even an electric wheelchair. You also get 12 outlets, including 4 AC outlets, so you can power more devices at once, and 2 USB-C outlets, which can charge your phone 20 times faster than a regular plug. Best of all, this new solar generator is fume-free, safe to use inside, and never needs gas, ever. Over 150,000 Americans trust Patriot Power generators. Go to 4patriots.com/VTTGW to get your solar generator now. You'll even get a solar panel included free.
Hey, what's up, trash talkers? Listen, it's impossible to fight, okay, if you don't know what you're fighting for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're in the dumps and you're struggling with mental health, things of that nature, it's going to continue tearing you down, all right? Because you're consistently trying to fight something, which is that demon, which is usually something from the past, right? Maybe that why needs to be fighting for your future. Let that be your why. Get the hell up and start fighting for your future. Stop fighting things that happened in the past. Easier said than done, right? Go seek help. It's okay not to be okay. A lot of people need to hear this. You are more of a warrior and a fighter if you stand up and say, hey, this has to stop. I need to go seek help. The stigma, everything has changed. It's okay not to be okay.
Here is a firm believer in all men are created equal, but not all men live equal. That is why there's a certain select number of people in the DoD who decided to jump out of airplanes. And yes, we are better than you. 100%. Now, don't be the first triggered pansy to say, well, airborne's not relevant. You haven't jumped since World War II. Well, that's not accurate, for one. And two, it's like having a jalopy or a 68 Mustang. Well, a 68 Mustang's no longer relevant. Doesn't matter. It's still a better car than yours. So take it easy this National Airborne Day and just accept that we are better than you.
So, 2 things for today's Honesty Cap. First thing, how do all my boys from the 101st feel knowing that the Army decided that instead of actually making you airborne, they would just create a whole new division that's airborne because you just aren't cutting it? It sucks. Thing number 2, for all the folks who were like, oh, airborne is irrelevant, doesn't even matter. They're making a whole new division of just airborne people because they're relevant. Think about that. How's that feel? Does it hurt a little bit? I hope it hurts a little bit.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What on, Gruntworks Nation, VTT? Welcome to episode 153 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is Susan, owner and publisher of Soldier of Fortune, and as usual, I'm here with Buddy and Nick. Happy Saturday.
Man, you sound like donkey poop.
Your
Your
connection sounds like your upper lip.
Yeah, like just
Dude, I've been sick all week, man.
Yeah.
I've been sick all week, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I got a doctor, Dave, that he said that, hey, let me know if that doesn't go away, and I'll send you Valtrex, under the radar. So just let me know if you need me to connect them to you so that we can.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I've seen those
Take care of it.
Valtrex, those
Yeah.
Valtrex commercials though. Like those people are fucking really happy. You know what I mean?
Super happy.
Like maybe if you took some of that, you wouldn't be sad. You'd just be frolicking in a field somewhere,
I guess it,
whatever ails you.
I'm happy as can be, bro. I've just been sick all week, man. I can't help it.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I'm still in the mood. I'm still happy, and I'm still here. And I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts, regardless of what side you stand on. Fuck Hamas. All right, you can cop that at shop.veterantrashtalk.com or check out the QR code right there on the screen.
right there. It's right there.
Get your shirt right there. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
But anyway, since we got my lip out of the way now, what else is new?
Man, I'm just in my new office outside, man. It's beautiful out here.
It looks good, dude.
Yeah.
I like it. It looks real good.
I have a new pet peeve, if that counts.
Yes.
What
is
what's
it?
that? So I flew back from
yes, more flights.
Boston/New Hampshire today, and I realized that I have a pet peeve with people and their carry-ons. 2 of them, actually. One of my pet peeves is people, specifically people flying in or out of Nashville that are musicians and put their whole guitar in the
and take the whole space.
Take the whole thing. It's not made for just you narcissist.
Why don't they check that in? They can check it in too, right?
We don't want to break our guitar. Like, if you were real famous, you'd have more than one. Just have one shipped or do something. I don't care, but don't take up all the space. That's what I'm upset about.
You ain't Jimmy Buffett up in this
famous if you fly in your private jet, right?
Look here, Jimmy. That's not what we want. Anyway, that is the one that I've had that one for a while. It always makes me mad. The one that I realized is really a pet peeve of mine is people that like walk onto the plane. They know they're sitting in 22E, but they get to like 16 and they put their carry-on case up there. That's not yours. That's 16s. That's not 22s.
Oh, that's rude.
There.
Yeah, that's
Back
bad.
there, 22. Don't put yours there. Don't
That's
do
bad.
that. That's wrong. You're a jerk.
It's a good.
And
I
then-
heard that was a good way. Back in,
More specifically, people that don't put it above theirs, they'll even get to like the lady that was sitting in the row with me, got there. There was room in ours. She turned around and put it in the other side so that when she got up, she could pull it out that way. I got it. Makes sense. A little bit more convenient. It's not your space. You get to use that space. They should kick people off the plane for that.
Yeah, and this, on the flip side of what you're saying, it's the same aspect of when somebody who has an earlier row and they get on late.
Yeah.
And then they go all the way back to find space.
Right.
And all I'm thinking is now when this plane is getting ready to board,
You got to go all the way back.
that guy's going to not wait for everybody to get off.
Ooh, that's also
They're gonna go right away and slow everything up. It's like
when the tires touch the ground and the group of douchebags get up and like stand up, like you're not going anywhere any faster than the rest of us.
We should have called this airline. We should have called this airline month.
Oh
Like,
God,
oh,
I hate
God,
it.
yeah.
It makes me mad.
I'm practicing my Pat McAfee. So if you watch the McAfee show on ESPN, he's always standing up like this, getting mad, like talking. So I'm gonna try that for a couple shows.
Nice. Get the bounce going. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway,
it's a good view, Nick. I like it. It's a good view.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a new fan. It's like industrial or something. I don't know. Yeah, got
you
some
don't
more
want to put
shirts.
your head- you don't want to put your head in that. That'll hurt.
Yeah.
No.
And then,
But anywho, we're going to kickstart the dumpster fire with a conspiracy. We briefly talked about it ago when I brought up Ryan. What's going on now? I can hear myself.
He's playing the video. So shut up.
I'll play the video yet.
Hey there. Y'all know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
You can't go there.
Can't go there? Okay, you ever see them come through here?
No, not really.
No?
No, these guys are pretty secretive.
All right.
If you try to get in there and get caught, bye-bye.
I'm dead?
It's very possible. They got security left and right there.
All right, well, pray for me. See ya. You think they'll let me in?
Nope. You won't even get through the front gate, my friend. Not even a parking lot. They're that strict.
So I headed down towards the nearby river to scout out a potential entryway via water.
Bohemian Grove is all the way over those trees. The current looks fast. We're looking to find an owl out here.
I do know if you go down that road and take a left, if you keep going, there's like a barricade. It's like a weird fence. It almost looks like a bunch of metal wrapped around it and everything. Really weird.
Creepy?
Kind of creepy. Almost like a Resident Evil kind of vibe.
Ooh. You know anything I should know about it?
Nah, not really, other than it's highly, security's always on patrol with them. We get people coming in for Bohemian and everything, and you can just tell by the cars and all that stuff, so.
Lamborghinis or like SUVs?
A little bit of both.
If you were to see a Grove member, would you be able to recognize one?
Sometimes, like in the summer when they're there, because they have like certain, like, they what is it, that all white thing sometimes.
They wear like all white garb?
Yeah, but not always.
That's a little bit spooky.
I know there's a bunch of hookers that can stay over here. Are
they hot?
I mean, yeah, but they charge way too much.
Oh, you've asked their price?
No.
Be honest with me.
I'm thinking they ain't worth the bullshit to begin with. So,
I don't think so. Half of them know what they're doing around with, really.
Okay.
But I mean, mine looks like an ancient Sumerian god, and I'm sure you've seen this shit.
We saw an owl driving in here, too, on that little lodge.
Oh, yeah. It's somehow related to it, but there's a lot of owls around here, too.
What is Moloch? What's like the simplified version of it?
As far as I know, Moloch was some sort of Semitic god. I know they sacrificed children to him and stuff. The only one that we know about the big ritual there is they have that big owl statue, and they burn a child in effigy for the cremation of care.
Yeah. Do you think they're burning kids out there?
I think they have, possibly in the past.
Well, I've been back there before when I worked.
Really?
Yeah, I worked for a septic tank company. It's like the rich guys.
Thank God.
Oh my Lord!
All right.
God, that's over.
So this is a 9-piece segment. Basically, it was after Ryan Garcia, when Ryan Garcia started claiming stuff about the Bohemian Grove. I mean, everybody who lives in California or in the area can tell you about it. And then he just went and interviewed a bunch of locals and asked them about it. But some of the things that have come out about the Bohemian Grove is that all the presidents have been there, right? World famous, like, artists, just like the higher elite, right? They go there once a year, and then they do pray to this owl god, this statue, Moloch, right? Which is also on the dollar bill. Like, if you, in the top corner of the dollar bill, I think it's the right or left, there's a little owl. I don't know what this owl really symbolizes. Maybe some of you guys know what it is, but the Bohemian Grove is a real thing. Apparently presidents are decided there. Hiroshima was decided there, and other big world things are decided at the Bohemian Grove. I do believe that there's some sketchy stuff that goes on there. Because I think it's, tell me if I'm wrong, but like with all these elites meeting, are they allowed to like all meet like without like in person? Like I don't know. I think there's a law. I think there's a law for that. Honestly, I'll have to Google it, but I'm pretty sure.
Are you
like
talking
it has
about
to be
elites
at least,
or members of the government?
Yeah,
I think there's a law that they can't meet unless they're in
like foreign presidents. If they're like foreign presidents, like just hook up and hang out together. Like it has to be announced, right? Like
A lot of those guys aren't elite. Some of them are just actors that we put in power.
Yeah, right. But you know what I mean? Like getting together in a public place, all making up. I don't know. There's some law. I read about it. I'm not certain. I'll Google it while you guys are talking.
We'll call it Dave's law.
I feel like that's a very.
Oh yeah, look, there's the owl. And stuff. Awesome.
Is that the owl?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Motherfucker been here the whole time.
How many times does it take to get to? I heard that the Bohemian Grove is sponsored by Tootsie Pop.
I mean, do you know how good Tootsie Rolls are?
One last thing.
Is there any chocolate?
Some like big Masonic thing, right? Some big Masonic thing. So long story short, I believe that they do meet there. I mean, people have seen like presidents and helicopters flying in there and fucking like shit ton of limousines and like something goes down there. Whether they decide on like the future of the world, who knows? But it's definitely a little weird, and that's my take.
I think we should go and find out. I think
we should. Go. Susan, you should go.
You're coming with me.
I'm in.
You go first. Okay, so we'll go. We should just go, and we should leave breadcrumbs and stuff in case we get lost. But we should go.
What's your take on it?
What's your take, Susan? What's your take on this?
Are they burning children with a bunch of hookers up there too?
Please
Like,
tell
what are
me.
burning and what is like the owl? I don't know the background of the owl. Like, I can't speak
Aren't
on
you
that.
the one that like came up with this conspiracy theory?
I looked it up last night, like I do all the conspiracies.
You didn't look
Isn't
up
that
what an
supposed to be
owl?
like
Right
100%
after he was
educated
putting
on it?
right after he was putting
Shut
ointment
the
on his
hell up,
lip.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried to type it out, but his finger kept slipping off the O.
Yeah.
This is so much
Anyway,
Valtrex.
you're
Valtrex
interrupting
on his
Susan,
finger.
buddy. But,
Well,
you know,
my
go ahead.
take on this is, like I lived in Northern California for a while, and you always heard about Bohemian Grove. My take on it was that it was sort of like it was camp, is that these guys went and they played up the fact that everybody thought that they were creepy and weird, and it was like a club, it was sort of like this, mysterious thing that no one could get into. But I actually think we should check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Susan. I'm there.
Okay, I think we should at least
Don't tell my
attempt to
bosses,
make
but I don't got shit to do during the week, really.
Let's
So,
we
do
should
it.
attempt to
And
make
then let's
entry.
document the whole thing. Yeah.
I think we should.
I've got some For Patriots food if you need some.
yeah, we got some
Boom.
in case we get stranded. We got a couple of those in our pocket. Boom,
Boom, bang.
boom.
And they've got 32 or 72-hour packets. You just
New
I
get-
have got two Israeli-made plate carriers that are in perfect shape, never used.
Boom. There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
I'll
Right.
donate those.
Yeah, I got a few.
Bohemian Grove, we're coming.
I got a few French war rifles. Never been fired. Only dropped twice.
French.
Yeah, yeah.
You're about to get swatted. Yeah. Anyway,
No.
buddy, what's your take?
I have a couple points that I would like to. First of all, whoever was doing the interview that you played on here.
It's 9 fucking goddamn videos. That was the only one I found.
got it. But it reminded me of whenever a tornado comes through Alabama and they just go to the trailer park and find the most ridiculous people they can talk to. Like, yeah, if you go down that road, there's a barrier.
Be the people in that area. Wouldn't that be a great area?
That's got
Wouldn't that
metal
be a good-
wrapped around it. I think the word you're looking for, my man, is gate. There's a gate to get in. First of all. Secondly, here's the thing. And I 100% believe that there are rich people meeting in different places all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And at those places, they most likely are discussing business, things that are relevant in their life because they have a whole lot more pull in their various like fields of work than anyone else does, right? That being said, like it isn't weird that a bunch of people, like-minded people, would meet up at a place that didn't allow other people to record it or talk about it or do anything else with it, simply because, I mean, it just makes sense. Like you wouldn't want everybody
wearing like white robes and praying to an owl is pretty like normal shit, I guess. You do that on the weekends.
But we don't know that they do that.
Well, here let's relate it to like other things, maybe. Like, you did ceremonies and traditions in the military, did you not? Do you think?
Yeah, but we know what they are, and everybody knows what they are.
Do you think that somebody from the outside looking into, like, say, a military formal and watch the grog get made might think they're making some weird potion?
They're drinking baby's blood and shit.
They're drinking fucking all of this stuff so they get some kind of weird spiritual power. All I'm saying is,
that's not the case.
Talk there, Herpy Hemery. Like, fucking shut up for a second. All I'm saying is, if without perspective, without being in that group and understanding the perspective that they're looking at, even if they are praying to some kind of weird owl, like, why do you I don't know. I guess I just don't. It doesn't affect my day-to-day life because I'm never going to get invited to Bohemian Grove to drink.
Buddy,
what?
are you part of this group, buddy? You're defending it awfully staunchly.
Hey,
how many times have you been to Bohemian Grove, buddy?
Only twice, and it was fun.
There you go.
Good time. It was a good time. But like I said, but there are lots of other organizations that have secret meetings and do secret like stuff. It doesn't make the organization, like the Boy Scouts have secret meetings where they do secret stuff, and it doesn't make them a bad organization. It just means they have secret meetings and do secret stuff so that they have a fraternity. Any fraternity does the same kind of creepy shit. You know what I mean? This is just a fraternity of really rich older people.
I think it's kind of like Skull and Bones at Yale. You know, there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
theories about what
That's
Skull
right.
and Bones
Bush was
actually
part of
is.
Skull and Bones, right? Bush, Obama, right?
Bush,
Yeah.
all those, the elite who went through Yale. But there has been this mystique about Bohemian Grove for decades.
Right.
But my
which
my
makes
operating-
it more, which makes it more, I guess, like elite, and it would draw people to it more than it would send it, you know, like make people not want to go to it. You know what I mean?
Well, when Ryan Garcia went ballistic and crazy, he said that I don't know, we can't use those words on the live, but they unalived some children there at the Bohemian Grove when they sacrificed them to the owl Moloch or whatever. Do you believe that? Like, that's like some crazy shit, you know? Now we're going down a crazy rabbit hole when it comes to that type of stuff. There's like a lot where Epstein's connected to it and like all kinds of weird stuff, man.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you're not gonna get an argument from me that there are super rich people that are so desensitized to anything that makes their dopamine level go up that they have to continue to push the boundary until they do like really crazy stuff, and that they are doing really crazy stuff. Yeah, I 100% agree with, like, that is statistically most likely the case. I mean, throughout history, if you look back at kings and royalty and like oligarchies and really, really rich people, they all did some really kind of foul things in their private life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, at some point, if you've got hundreds of billions of dollars, you know, just
you can
going
literally do whatever.
home at 5 o'clock in the
whatever
evening just
you want.
doesn't float your boat anymore. You know what I mean? And once you've jumped out of a plane, then you want to jump out of a plane at night. And then once you've done it at night, you want to do it from outer space. Like they keep pushing the limit until they're so far removed from a moral compass that the rest of us would understand. That being said, I mean, it doesn't make it right, but it also doesn't make it.
If it is all our world leaders and stuff, the people, you know, that the people are supposed to look up to. I mean, I guess we've had our conversations about our presidents and stuff, but I mean, it does make it kind of like fucked up, you know, like holy shit.
Well, I mean,
Just trying to understand it all, I guess. You know, what the owl,
yeah.
like what the owl means. Like it's on the dollar bill. It's all mystique. You know, it's all this Illuminati shit and all this crazy stuff. You know, but like you said, like we can't change it anyway, right? But that's the fun thing
Well,
about
it's not that we
That's why
can't
talk
change
about
it. It's just that if you're not going to do something about it, then why get upset about it?
Yeah, of course.
If you're not actively going to like stop it somehow, then there's no reason to bitch about it and whine about it. If you're not going to, like we say, put any skin in the game to like stop it or do anything for it, then you're just whining. You know what I mean? But and like I said, at the end of the day, it's not that it doesn't affect my life, because it's going to affect everybody's life if you know there are a bunch of like world leaders meeting and talking and doing whatever. But at the the reason that prison guards are allowed to be in charge is because the prisoners aren't convinced that there's more of them than there are of the guards. So you know, the fact that we call them our leaders, like our world leaders, we allow them to be in charge. Once we realize that there are more of us than there are of them, and we can tell them that they're not in charge anymore.
Ooh, another ants reference. I like it.
That's a great.
I love the ants.
It's crazy though, like the things, you know, when they say the presidents are decided there, you know, like they decide there who will become the next president and stuff, you know. And obviously we can go further down the rabbit hole and talk like Hiroshima supposedly was decided there, at least if they're gonna do it. So yeah, that is concerning if like all the decisions are made there, that means we have zero power then essentially, you know, which I guess we kind of don't, in my opinion at least. When we look
Did
at
you have an
elections and
illusion
stuff
to
like
how
that.
much power you had at some point?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, I have two observations here. One is that the original rumor about that place was that it was a nudist colony, that all these world leaders, like, they just ran around naked the whole time. So, like, they didn't want
I've
anybody.
heard that too.
Right?
I mean, when I'm king of my own castle, when the girls go on like a girls trip, I mean, I walk around naked.
I'm not gonna lie. When Quinn,
just saying.
when my son has gone to his friend's house for the weekend or something, I Porky Pig it around my house. No pants. That's
there you
the
go.
rule.
But anyway,
Yeah.
what were
But you don't
saying?
want people coming in taking your picture, right? So, but
that's
the
all
other
different.
thing is, just like, as a journalist, like, the one thing that really has come home to me pretty clearly is that there's keeping a secret is so difficult. Nobody keeps a secret. So if you've got decades worth of all of these people who are involved in this conspiracy, how come no one has come forward and felt guilty and confessed and, tipped off the press or someone on how to bust this thing? So, like, my take is it's really an outrageous conspiracy, but the place does exist. So I think we ought to go.
Sweet. Nick, what's your take?
I was waiting patiently for the obviously the intelligent aspect of the show, to where I had to like bring it in. But we do have Susan with us today, and so I was excited because she is another intelligent person like myself. Very well-rounded, educated, comes up with really good points. But I'm gonna say something here that I think you're all right. But except for Dave, because I don't think Dave was prepared for the show whatsoever. He's been rubbing
Doesn't even
that
know what the owl
herpes thing. Yeah, like doesn't even know what the owl means. Like you're the one that's supposed to tell us what it fucking means, Dave. All right, we're supposed to talk about. You're supposed to research
Any
this stuff.
research in these conspiracies, man. I looked them up the night before.
But I'm going to talk about how you guys are right, and also just like wrong. Like Susan's right that we just need to go there. All right, we got to go there and figure out what's going on. So we're going to make that happen, and that kind of goes into what Buddy's talking about. How there's no skin in the game, right? Why are you upset about this place? You're one of those. Are you one of those MAGA people? Which, no offense if you are, right? One of those MAGA people that are like, oh my God, everybody's abducting kids. How many kids have you saved last year? All right. How many kids did you go on the warpath to help? All right. I'm guessing not a lot. I'm guessing probably none. All right. We know the people that do. All right. Especially like, Ace from Bulletproof Podcast is watching. She's part of the game. She's got skin in it, right? She's doing it. But here's where we have a problem with addressing this Bohemian Grove is we're looking at it through the lens as if these are the elites, right? Not the politicians. I'm talking about the elites, who run this world. There is no limit to where they think they don't have power, right? So you think they care if what they do gets leaked? Because what's going to happen to them? So that's why I think this place 100% exists, right? We need to go there and check it out.
I think we do.
Because one, I mean, it's not because of the hooker comment. Not that, but
I'm
that
keeping
was
one
hilarious.
plate carrier for myself. But
all I'm saying is if you Google it, you can do the overview, the reviews. If you want to review the Bohemian Grove, you can.
It's got a Yelp review.
It's got pictures, stock photos.
I'm sure you're allowed to go in there when there's not a ceremony going on. You can actually go and check out the owl and stuff.
Like I said, they're going to put it right in front of your face.
Yeah,
that's what makes
me
like
burning all the time.
Look at if anybody's still questioning the Epstein list and the Epstein trial and all this stuff, like they literally threw it right out in our face and we're like, we don't care what you think. Yeah, we were all on that island. There's the list. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, there's a whole list. Also, the guy that ran it, we're just going to fucking kill him. Cool.
And then this goes back to what you were saying, buddy. The ants don't care.
No.
All right. The majority of people, and it's been proven in all the elections in the last 20, 30, 40 years, they just don't care. All right. They want their own little piece of pie. All right. They want, maybe their piece of pie is different than what you want for your piece of pie. But as long as they're somewhat happy and content, ants ain't going to care.
No.
Not at all.
The fact is that the funny thing is that, we're, like, especially in the United States.
Hold on. Triggered by a guest. This will lead into the Book of Earl. All All right, by a commentary. All right,
Okay.
Ben Johnson says, "How many Busch Lights deep are you?" First of all, it's 10th Mountain Vodka. Okay, not Busch Lights. We are sponsored by 10th Mountain Whiskey, so get on our level, homie.
Boom.
Get on it.
There you go. It's up there now.
There it is. Boom. See that
funny
there?
thing is, like,
Type in VTT and get a discount.
Discount
especially
VTT.
Jesus, especially in the United States, like we know about like millionaires and a few billionaires, like the super famous billionaires and this, that, and the other. But throughout the world, there are people that have tens and hundreds of billions of dollars that on the street you would never know who they are because they're not famous. Like the people that are like riding around on these like super duper mega yachts, you would never know them. Like celebrities and rappers and actors rent yachts. The people that own them, you would never ever know who they are.
Oh yeah,
and they're the people
100%.
that have the power and the money and all the other stuff to be able to pull strings and do, manipulate politicians and countries and things like that. So, to think that, I wouldn't even be worried that politicians are meeting at different places. It's the people, it's the oligarchs that have billions and billions
with
and
the money, the
dollars in
investors, yeah, of course.
those are the people that you have
The
to
1%. The 1%.
Oh, less than the 1%.
They're not the 1%. They're more like the
less than 1%. Yeah.
Dave, you're about to be in the 1% with that Jasmine. You know what I'm saying? So like you're not these are the 0.001%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go, Susan. What?
I just got a text from Hoot.
There you go. Yeah, who's
He
been on this
was
show
he
before?
said,
What did he say?
Boom.
"Yep,
Group.
I was a fifth
Yep.
group baby."
So the other conspiracy, we'll cover that.
Maybe
Maybe we'll bring Hoop back on, and we can talk about, if he's allowed to. We'll talk about how Fifth Group owns the world.
I mean,
Buddy's in trouble now. Buddy's in trouble now.
Nobody said we
right,
didn't. Nobody said we owned it. They just said we.
Okay, can you read this?
But
What does it say?
it's backwards.
It's backwards. Okay, so you Bohemian
typing
people
right now. You might want.
Yeah.
He says, signed in immediately after the SFQC in Feb '82. So there we go. There you go.
No big deal. No big deal, Hoot. I was 1 year old at the time. Not a big
Okay.
deal. But no, hey, those of you who don't know who Norman Hooten is, he was a guy he's an actor, played in a movie called Black Hawk Down.
We were sure to look.
But no, he actually is the guy named Hooten.
Now it's just a boring pharmacist. Ugh.
Yeah. Now he's just a boring pharmacist who taught himself how to fly his own tobacco in.
And he sells bourbon. Yeah.
And so those of you who don't know Norman Hooten, go to hootenandyoung.com. All right. They have a really, really, really good whiskey and a good cigar selection. So go to hootenandyoung.com and go do that. It was a great guest on our show. We were in San Diego when he was a guest.
Yeah.
So that was a good time.
But okay, so buddy, you get points. You get total points.
I mean, I did.
I'm telling you, you should know.
I listened.
Well, normally Buddy has a really good take on the conspiracies, but when it comes to like world ownership, it's weird how he's always kind of quiet about it. He doesn't really come at it with it because
it all adds up now, Nick. It all adds up.
Is Fifth Group security for the Bohemian?
You're onto something, Nick. Yeah.
I think.
Did we ask Norm to come
with the aliens in the Miami Mall were real, but he doesn't want to fucking talk about this shit. You know?
Yeah. It's coming together, buddy. It's coming together. Yep.
You guys might want to watch your words.
Yeah,
you might want to put some respect on it.
We actually got permission a long time ago for that shirt right there. This is my safety. So go ahead and scan that and grab that one. So he allowed us to do that. That was very nice of him. So scan that. This is my safety. Go get it. All right. Well, let's get into the book of Earl. It won't take long because I really want to talk to Susan. At first, I was going to talk about the same thing I always talk about in March for the last 2 years is, Women's History Month. All right. And how, if you follow Big Earl's page, and what kind of triggered me this week was the amount of you that were coming after me on how they made the meme about the NCAA reversing its ruling that Leah Thomas, i.e. the dude, right, that won all the swimming events, giving his trophies back, all right, to Riley.
That upset me. That meme upset me.
Right.
Because I believed it, and then I found out
Right.
it wasn't true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not true. Then this is what I was going to get triggered about is I make the joke that men are going to take over all the women's records, right? And that it's our time now, kings. It's our time now to seize, right? Everything. We had Woman of the Year, all right? We Miss Puerto Rico's a dude, right? We got the powerlifting record. We got the NCAA swimming record. So I'm trying to make all this fun. And people are on there like, that's not true. It didn't happen. I go, exactly. It didn't happen. And I was like, why is there, and we've said this before, why is there not every single women's rights page, feminist page, blah, at any fucking page that has a woman on it, going nuts about this stuff? Like going absolutely nuts. And like I said, we've already covered it, so I don't want to get into that. But that was kind of what had me kind of, getting revved up for the Saturday show about what I was going to talk about. And so the Book of Earl is simple. And I'm going to put this in the Beatitudes, all right, chapters, all right, somewhere like around, chapter 16, all right, when I get down to actually writing the book. But it's be authentic. All right, just be authentic. And as long as you can accept that you know that you are being authentic and you don't have any fucking friends, it's because you suck probably. All right? Like if you're authentic, right? There's probably something you're doing wrong. Now, if you're in an area where there's a bunch of douchebags around you, be authentic and don't hang out with them. Don't be friends with them. All right? Because maybe you just need to move. Right? You ain't in the right spot. All right, but yeah, so here's where it comes with authentic. I was doing a fight show this morning, okay, where we talk about UFC fights. We talk about who's going to win, right? And what we do on this show, and I always make it a point during the fight show to explain to others that we promote veteran-owned businesses, veteran-owned causes, anything that helps veterans out or active duty. We promote you for free. Right? We don't charge you nothing. Like, come out here and tell us what you do. So somebody in the chat thread, buddy, somebody in the chat thread puts out what some kind of business they want to give a shout out to. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, hey, yeah, Alchemy, freaking, podcast. That's awesome. Let's do it. And then this guy put a bunch of emojis up. Right? He was talking to me like in Generation Z, where I don't know what all that stuff means. He just gave me a bunch of emojis. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't read Swahili, bro. Right? And then I was called a racist.
Oh, because you don't read Swahili?
Because I don't read. Well, apparently, I'm guessing this guy was African American.
What?
Because he assumed that Baker said, our producer said he was. So our producer looked at him. So apparently me saying I don't read Swahili is racist. Because he was African American. Well, guess what, Mr. Tyrell? I didn't see your picture. All I saw was your comment. I had no idea what you looked like. I had no idea who you were. And I was willing to give you a big ass shout out. All right. Because that's what we do. It's just a lot of fun. Right. But here's where you start to get lost in society is where right away I'm a racist because I said that. And I'm like, I haven't been called a racist since I was a first sergeant, by the way. It's been a long time. All right. Now, and again, anytime you challenge the status quo because you're authentic. Right. And again, I don't give a shit that I said Swahili. I'm not going to apologize for it. I could have said it Irish, Italian, English, Irish American, blah. I fucking say anything. So what? How the fuck is that racist? All right. So this is where we get into a problem Women's History Month has now become more important to me than it has in the past. One, because I have 2 daughters, right? And we are literally letting men take away their records. We are letting men do things in women's arenas that that unfucking real, right? So I didn't pick Susan to be guest during March because she's a woman. I've been trying to get Susan on the show for quite some time now, and she'll tell you that.
This is
All
true.
right?
True.
Why?
True.
Because Susan's freaking awesome. What Susan does is legit as hell. Who she was recommending me to the first time we ever met was by Karen, another woman that was on this show, right? And then Karen, Susan, and I, and then our producer Chris and Mark Boyd from Darley Defense, we got in here and we started the Task Force Lahaina. Right? We didn't do much about it, but we started it. All of a sudden, everybody who could do something about it was doing something about it. Right? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, buddy, but I'm a racist and I got triggered by the chat thread like you did last week. I tried my best to control my composure, but I told him to take his liberal leaning left racist card and shove it up his ass.
I think the problem lies in a where we're in this weird time where it's a viable debate strategy to just throw out like weird words like narcissist or racist or sexist or misogynist.
Easy. When you don't have a rebuttal. Yeah.
You put any of the ist in there and then you are relieved from your requirement to provide facts and logic, and you can just go with feelings and terms that don't have to be proven. And like I said, if the first thing you go to is this person doesn't like me, okay, so like it's me. If I go into a store and I complain or I do something that people don't like, and then I go, well, you guys just don't like me because I'm a white dude. It could be that, or it could just be that you're a dickhead. And then people don't like you because you're a dickhead. You just happen to be a dickhead who's also a white dude. Or you happen to be a dickhead who fits one of these other identities that like you subscribe to instead of just being a regular person. Like if you can boil your entire personality and your life down to like one group, then it's and that goes for like if you're a veteran, and being a veteran is what you boil your entire personality down. Like you've got all the 5'11 tactical, and all you talk about is your
veteran trash talk here.
And all
the ERB on the back of your car, your entire ERB.
All you do is bitch about like, well, you guys should do what I tell you to do because I'm a veteran and this, that, and the other. Like, you owe me. Yeah, are you warm at night? Yeah, you're welcome for that blanket of freedom I provided. Like, if you can boil your entire personality and all of your arguments into that one thing, you should probably look in the mirror and go, man, I have failed at life. Like, as a whole,
you failed up till now.
Up to now, I need to make a change because you're a one-dimensional character, basically drawn. You're an animation drawn into everyone else's life. If you're that one-dimensional, like you're not a whole person. Like you have to be able to. You can't even see anyone else's perspective or side of the story if the only way you're looking through it is through your one dimension. And like to get upset with somebody because they know and I don't know, it seems like we live in a time where somebody will ask you a question or make a request of you to do something like, hey, will you do this? And the only answer they're willing to take is yes. no is also an answer, or I don't know, or maybe. But if you don't agree with them and do exactly what they want, then they attack you because you had the audacity to have your own opinion or want to do your own thing instead of do what they want. And then they go with the, well, you must be a narcissistic, racist, bigoted douchebag from Alabama. And you're like, okay, like, I mean, if that's what you feel, great.
Yeah.
But
And so
it's not true.
we gotta get to Susan here, and talk about it. But yeah, those are like, again, that's where you start to get lost on what we're appreciating, right? You start to get lost on how much people, whoever has volume on something. Is that Dave? It was Dave. You suck. All right. So, anyways, we try to look at what women have accomplished, and our moderators and our hosts that are women, like i.e. VTT's 254 Cable and VTT's Pacific Tita, they told me one time a couple years ago that it's important for Women's History Month because it's important to bring out what women have done, right? It's important during any history month to bring out what they have done because, yes, you have to be honest, they were the most recently prejudiced people, right, in America, right? We're women, okay, and then especially like Black women or minority women, right? They had the hardest hill recently, okay. So it is important to bring forward what they have accomplished, right, and so that we can celebrate it, right? Where are you right now to stop men from taking away what you've done, right? So, anyways. That's the Book of Earl. Be authentic. Don't stand up for any type of transgender bullshit. And now when I turn it over to Susan here, all right, Susan is a rock star, okay? Susan has brought a magazine that I used to love as a kid, right? Partially part of the reason why I didn't know what a soldier was, but I was going to do it, right, is Soldier of Fortune magazine, all right? Going there and uncovering what's going on around the world, how the forces are being impacted, and having that investigative journalism background. Oh, and do we have to say it? Susan's a woman. Okay. Phenomenal. But guess what, Susan? This is going to be the segue to the dumpster fire. Welcome to it. Right? You were in Northern Ireland, correct? Well, as a child?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about that. And then let's talk about how you got to where you are with Soldier of Fortune and the badass things you've been doing. And oh, by the way, this is where the actual truth was going to come in. The authenticism. How do we? It's a hard word.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah. I was trying to copy Eddie Murphy's Raw skit, by the way. So get over it. All right. So the
big words are hard. It's not. Yeah. It's all right.
The authenticity, all right, of Facebook is that if you tell the truth, you tend to get in trouble. So right now, Soldier of Fortune magazine, who's trying to tell the truth, all right, is getting shadow banned on Facebook. And we are 100% used to that here at VeteranTrashTalk because they're just not used to telling the truth. So, Susan, talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about, how you got what you got, because we've been waiting for a long time to have you on the show. So welcome to the dumpster fire.
Thank you. I feel so at home with you guys. Like kumbaya. Like have some whiskey, whatever brand. Like seriously, I'm so happy to be here. Like thank you for having me on. So like, my background, I'm an American. I'm also an Irish citizen, and I grew up. My mother's from Ireland, so when I was a kid, we used to spend summers in Ireland, then come back to the States. Bebop. This is during the Troubles, like some pretty extremely violent times in Northern Ireland. So I was exposed to, like, even though we stayed in the South, a lot of the people that I knew were very involved with those events. So they would go up north, do their thing, come back down, plot plan. So I was exposed to that as a child, as a young kid. And then when I was older, we moved to Dublin, was there for, I'm sure you've all heard of Bloody Sunday. when big event in Northern Ireland that it resonates to this day. And I was not there on scene for Bloody Sunday, but I was there a couple days later when the British Embassy was burned in Dublin, which was a really intense event. Like, I was a young kid, I was banned from doing anything connected with the Provos or with the Troubles, but I snuck out, climbed to the top of the lamppost. I watched 25,000 people below me like, besiege the British Embassy, set it on fire, like like throwing fire bombs, and people climbing on top of the roof with an axe, chopping it, and chopping fire hoses so that the firemen could not put out the fires. So that sparked my interest. Became a journalist and also reported on Northern Ireland as a journalist, also during the Troubles.
When you say Troubles for the younger viewers, what does that mean?
Oh, that was like this guerrilla warfare between the Provisional Irish Republican Army and pro-British forces. So the basic conflict was that one side wanted to Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom, and another side wanted all of Ireland to be united into one country. But part of the problem was that the dominant group that wanted unification of Ireland was pretty violent, and they also wanted they were friends with some pretty shady characters in the Middle East. So it was a very complex and tumultuous time.
Yeah, and I don't know whose dinner bell's ringing. It's probably Buddy still, but
No, it's not me.
it's not you. Oh man, it must be. It's either Susan or Chris with the notifications. But okay, so you grew up in Ireland, witnessed the Troubles, and then did you get your journalist background started in the United States, and then went to back to Ireland?
Right. So like I came to the U.S. and I had befriended this British Army general who fought in the Boer War and who told me about the Boers, and I got really interested in mercenaries. So I came back to the U.S. and I wanted to write about mercenaries. And I took out an ad in Soldier Fortune magazine. And I was trying to keep the word count really low because you paid by the word. And it said, "Are you a mercenary? Contact." And I gave my name and my address.
That's a really good way to get in touch with the A-team. I'm just saying.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Did Hannibal show up to
Hannibal's like, I love it when a
take,
plan
take the mustache off?
Yeah.
Well, Susan, you just hired the A-team.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, but I was really young. Okay, so I got.
How old were you?
I have lost my birth certificate. So like,
how old were you when you did that? There's no time.
Early 20s. Early
20s. Okay. Yeah.
So like I took out this ad in Soldier Fortune magazine, gave my apartment address, and to my shock, people showed up at my door, and I got a lot of letters. Right, for the entire spectrum. Right. Hey, have a gun. Just need you to pay me to come back to the U.S. Can you please send me money? To like whacked out people and a couple of genuine mercenaries. They thought I wanted to hire them, and I just wanted to write about them. So I thought the whole thing was kind of funny, like it was a misunderstanding. So I called Soldier Fortune headquarters, and I got Bob Brown, Colonel Brown, and I said, "Hey, I want to write for you. I've got this this really funny thing that happened when I took out an ad in your magazine." And he just said, "That's bullshit." He says, "If you ever get a real story, give me, get in touch." So I hung up. So that was that. So fast forward many years, I got a job at the Washington Times in Washington, D.C. And I had sort of smuggled this painting into the Pentagon. Like I had to return it to the Pentagon. That's a long story too. But one of my colleagues was test driving a Porsche, and we were going to return the Porsche, pick up the painting, return it to the Pentagon, which is another side story. But we're in the lobby of the Washington Times, and there's Colonel Brown in the lobby. He was just sitting there, and I said, "Hey, you want to ride into town?" And he said, "Yeah." So we like stuffed him in the back of this Porsche, and his head was right like by the gear shift between the two front seats, and we had him cornered. So we were giving him a lift into town, and I said, "Hey, I want to write for you," and he goes, "Well, we never had a woman. This is Women's History Month. I can talk about this." He said, "We never had a woman." I said, "Okay, well, I want to write for you," and we just kept going back and forth, and he said, "Fine, meet me at the waterfront tomorrow." And go to the waterfront the next day. There's Mosquito Indians, there's Charlie Beckwith, there's a Kevlar speedboat, guys with eye patches, parrots on the shoulder kind of thing. And I just started hanging around with the Soldier of Fortune crowd and started writing for them while I was at the Washington Times. So covered Northern Ireland for the Washington Times, and then wrote about like kind of wonky stuff for Soldier of Fortune. Like really, what happens if the U.S. and China go to war? Who will win? That kind of thing. And just wrote for them over the years. And then when I found out that Colonel Brown was interested in selling the magazine, I bought it.
Well, nice. So
you're
went
the owner, operator, writer, and producer of Soldier of Fortune magazine. Is what you're saying?
Right. Yeah, I'm it.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, and so what I got from that is you got rejected by
I did. Very painful.
So then you hijacked a painting out of the Pentagon, and then you stole the colonel and shoved him in a Porsche.
Yeah.
And then put his arm behind his head and said, "I'm writing for you.
I'm writing for you." And now you run it.
And now you own.
But can I redeem myself about the painting?
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
I didn't steal it. I was actually helping the Pentagon. I was
ugly.
I was helping them. I gave them back their painting. So
you only borrowed it. It.
This is like national treasure. You stole the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence so that you could save it.
No. I when I was in California, I did aircraft restoration at Travis Air Force Space Museum. It's like I helped restore these really cool aircraft, and in the hangar, my buddies found this painting. It was called Jaeger's Quest. You're laughing, but it's true. It was, Glamorous Glennis being launched from the belly of the whatever, I forget which bomber it was, but Jaeger himself signed it. It was a valuable painting by Stan Stokes, and there it was in the hangar of Travis Air Force Base, and it belonged to the Pentagon and the Pentagon art program, and they were really pissed that we had their painting. Like when we called them and said, "Hey, we found your painting," they weren't
good.
nice.
How did you know it belonged to the Pentagon?
Well, because
what happened
was, yeah, like I guess the museum had borrowed it from the Pentagon for an air show and just lost it. So I was doing them a favor. I go to Washington, D.C., right? And my buddies at Travis flew this painting aboard a C-5, took it to the East Coast. And I'll tell you, that painting almost got lost. It almost got sent to Korea. So the Pentagon should have been very happy about this, right? So, yeah, it's kind of a convoluted story, and I don't want to get you too far off track, but it was a favor.
It's your track, Susan. We're talking about Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, this is all about you, Susan.
So all right. So we got the background. We got how you took power, by force. which
Right.
again is a strategy, and sometimes very, very effective one, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
So talk about where that went from there, then, and then once you started like reporting, what are some of the things that you've seen, that you've done, the connections that you made, just anything that comes to mind that is like, hey, this
Also,
turned out to be.
are you guys still offering the reward for a piece of North Korea's flag? Just wondering, asking for a friend, asking totally.
Yes, but the reward has changed. It is now merch. It is Soldier of Fortune gear. So
$1 million worth of Soldier of Fortune gear.
well,
That's a lot of gear.
It depends on what we price it at.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
This is a $500,000
$1 million shirt right here.
Right. Like, so
see, that's an IOU.
Yeah.
Hang on to that one.
Yeah. So
well, I don't think you have to worry about paying that reward anytime soon, but just wondering, just in case.
well, if your friend comes up with the flag, have your friend get in touch. And
he's probably a fifth group guy.
Isn't it just a piece of the flag? You just have to have a piece.
But it has to be authenticated. Like, we have to know, like, how do we know that they're just not going to the, like,
How do you know you didn't make your own and cut a piece off of it?
Just go to the North Korean fabric market and buy a piece of. You could. You're right.
Is there a North Korean?
Yeah, honestly, if I was,
how would you authenticate that? Like, how?
If I was as broke as North Korea was, I just cut a piece off of it myself and ship it in.
I want documentation of how this was done, and I would want a little bit of a DNA sample off that flag. Like, there would have to be some kind of North Korean DNA.
Like Kim Jong-un's actual blood.
Dip it in his spit.
Something like that. Yeah. You say, hey, can you chew this for a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes getting that reward that much harder. Like, you gotta not only get the piece of the flag, but also get close enough to him to dip some spit. That's
but think how gratifying that would be.
True. I guess.
Right? You can do it, buddy.
You just have to get in touch with Dennis Rodman. I bet Dennis Rodman could get it.
Yeah, Robin's got a flag for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
for sure.
100%.
Yeah. Hey, Susan, so give us something recently that Soldier of Fortune's worked on, either a good thing, a bad thing. Like, give us something that Soldier of Fortune's like, hey, if you haven't picked up Soldier of Fortune in a minute because you didn't think it existed anymore, right? Why should I get it again? Why should I start looking at it again?
Oh, you should absolutely. First of all, it's just like, it kicks ass. It's a great publication. It's on the web, so you don't even have to go scouting to your Barnes and Noble or whatever, asking, hey, do you have Soldier of Fortune? You can just call it up, softmag.com. And there it is, like, all the stories. So the cool, actually, in all honesty, like, we're joking around a lot, but the thing that I'm really probably the proudest of is that I started this section called the Fire Pit. And the Fire Pit is open to readers to tell their stories. And it's turned into like a literary magazine. Like, the stuff that the guys are sending me, and women can send stuff too, but they literally have not. They just haven't sent it.
Can I dress up like a girl and send it to you? Because I'm all about that as the big girl. Like, can I send it in as Nicole and take like the winning women's prize?
Only if you tie it to your military service. It has to have a military theme to it.
Boom. Boom.
Like, okay, I'll be looking. I'll be looking for it. But like, the stuff that I'm getting from guys sending me stuff it blows me away. Like, their voices are so authentic, and the storytelling is just like, as an editor, I'm a pretty harsh editor. Like, I've been an editor for big publications, and I look at this stuff and I go, I don't even want to touch it. Like, it's just the voice. It's just beautiful. Like, one of my writers, Heath Hansen, he is so funny. 82nd Airborne guy, and right, like,
probably a super awesome dude,
honorable, probably a great physique, nice jawline.
Yeah, probably square.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
squared up.
Grows a beard like in a day.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah. He's gone to the border, and he's
what is probably one of your favorite stories from that section of your magazine, if you have one in mind?
From the Fire Pit. Wow. One of Heath's stories, The Phantom Shitter. That one was just like, I laughed so much reading that story. This was, I think he was in Afghanistan.
Oh,
and
he's been a lot of places. The Phantom. He has been a
The
lot.
Phantom Shitter from the movie Flight of the Intruder. It's existed a long time.
Oh, he has been all over.
Well, in Afghanistan, they had a problem in like the showers. Somebody was using the shower as a toilet, and it became a huge thing, like a big deal. And then I don't want to spoil it in case you read it, but they caught the Phantom Shitter, and it was just like so funny. I love that story. And then, you know, the ghost in Afghanistan, right? The Afghans were terrified because, you know, the antenna on the these were going like this, and they knew it was a ghost. So those are two of my absolute favorite stories. And then the guys return fairly frequently to veteran mental health issues and suicide prevention. And we had one by Guy Fred Gaines, who wrote this like really very touching story about how he didn't listen to his buddy, and he should have. He writes that he should have paid attention. So we get into some real like, I think, heartrending stuff and some funny stuff. So I love that section, the fire pit. I love that.
What do you think your what is the your so you is there, what are the other sections of Soldier of Fortune now? It's been a long time since I've looked at a Soldier of Fortune magazine, like a long time. So
war. So write about war. Security, which covers like a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a section called Badass. We've got Guns and Gear, which, you know, people send in their stuff about guns and gear.
And Guns and Gear. Yeah.
So if you wanted to send something in from like SIG or something like that, you could do that.
Shout out.
But I would want to talk to SIG about would SIG like to advertise with us too? Like, I would love that. I had one guy who, he's Canadian. He
Has he got a hockey stick?
No, but Royce DeMello, he tested a Chinese knockoff of a Dragunov sniper rifle, and very honest review. And, you know, a lot of times in gun publications, you'll read reviews and it's always clearly they're sucking up to the gun company, right?
Well, gun guys are also odd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they?
People are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. But this story was really good. It was good. And then I have a section called Dispatches where I like write basically my opinion on stuff.
Yeah. Do you guys still have the like they used to post, like when you put your post in for a mercenary to come visit your house? Apparently, can you still post in there? Can you still get the A-team to come to your house on Soldier of Fortune magazine?
Hard no.
What?
Absolutely not.
So how you got started, you took it away.
What
You're
about
like,
that's why she did it.
Ain't nobody overthrowing this regime like I overthrew the last one.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
happening.
Correct.
Not happening. Yeah.
Correct.
So you can't like crack open or log on to Soldier of Fortune and go to the I need a job shooting people section?
Not anymore. Nope, that's gone. But you know what? I get a lot of requests from people wanting to do that work. Like in fact, I even started a section on the goofy letters that I get. But one guy, yeah, like a bunch of guys, like they say, you know, can you help me get a job as a mercenary? I get one case. I've never done this before, and I haven't served, but I would be really good.
You know, I would think that the the biggest red flag for that entire thing would be somebody that sent you a letter or a message and was like, "Do you think you could get me a job as a mercenary? Do you mean security, my man? Like you mean a private security, executive security, some sort of?" I don't think there are many mercenary jobs out there anymore. Gun for hire. Like I'm your.
You need someone to disappear. I'm your guy.
Yeah. You know, can I get a job as a hitman?
I watched all 5 John Wicks and pretty ready. Pretty ready.
I've watched all the John Wick movies multiple times.
I'm a champ at soft air. Me and my buddies, we have soft air
But I'm
wars.
just saying.
Yeah, dude, I'll get right on that. I'll get sure I can hook you
I've
up.
got a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle. So to say I'm ready means I'm pretty much ready.
Hot take, Susan, because again, for those of you watching and those, because then we'll have people download this and listen to the audio on Spotify and all that good stuff. Soldier of Fortune magazine, you just explained about 5 or 6 different topics that are on the website now, right? So it's no more paperback. How they go there and read. Tell us a hot takes. What's new? What's something that we're going to see coming out soon? Like, i.e., maybe something on this terrorist attack in Moscow. What does Soldier of Fortune do with that?
I've got something up there today that I posted last night. I've got a couple of theories on that attack, but I haven't put them in writing yet. But you'll see more stuff on the border. I went to the border and haven't published about it yet. I wrote a little bit about it, but
what border did you go to?
In Texas, southern Texas. What I did was you
didn't come to El Paso? Oh shit, we would have hung out.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Are you in El Paso? No.
Hell yeah, I am. Yeah,
okay,
we just had a border patrol.
Well, soon she's gonna do an article on the Bohemian Grove, and we'll all be hanging out. So
yeah,
we'll go. Yeah, we'll go. You'll go. No, but this was cool. Is that I went to Eagle Pass, and the National Guard guys. They
can't golf course there.
Well, they can't talk to the media and stuff. But what was cool was they said write about our legacy, like write about the Tea Patchers, write about like what we did in World War II. And they actually did some really cool, that's a really cool story. So like I wrote about, okay, hey, here's what the Tea Patchers did. This is the legacy of these guys and gals that you see right now who can't really talk to the press in Eagle Pass. So I did that. Then there's some stuff up there from Arizona where Heath Hansen, my go-to guy, he went to this place called Baby's Head Gap. Really remote place along the border of Arizona and Mexico. There's the wall, and there's a gap in the wall. And in order to spook people, the cartels nailed a baby's head doll to a fence post.
Thank you for clarifying.
That it was a doll.
There was an odd pause in there where you said all of it, and then there was a giggle, and then the doll, and I was just like, psychopath. We have a psychopath on the show, guys. It's funny that we're saying with baby's head.
Although it wouldn't surprise me if it was the other way.
They went to Bohemian Grove, yeah. No, it was this doll head.
Like we always talk about on the show, humor is always right around there.
So anyway, he wrote about Baby's Head Gap, and we have a picture of the baby head. It's creepy. Like it's like something out of like a witch movie or something, right? Like you look at this thing, oh, I'm not going near that. But he watched like cartel gun battles right on the other side of the fence. So we wrote about that.
Are you sending like does Soldier of Fortune are they sending writers like to like Gaza or Israel or Ukraine or any of those, like to cover any of that stuff, or are you just kind of getting word from people that are like have been
on the ground or whatever?
Security.
And you have very reliable sources.
Yeah.
Obviously we're not going to say, but you have extremely reliable ones.
Yeah. Had a guy in Ukraine. He's back now. And then another guy trying to get him into Israel, but I'm kind of like, like I'm a mother, right? So like I worry about safety. Like I get kind of motherly with my writers in that sense. So I didn't want the guy who wanted to go, I wanted him to be embedded with the IDF. And the reason for that is that if you're as under the laws of international law, if a reporter is captured while on an embed, they're technically considered a prisoner of war. So that doesn't matter to Hamas. They could care less.
Ain't no such thing today, boy.
But the thing is, like, it puts pressure on the home government to advocate for the reporter. So like if, let's say this guy goes and he's abetted and he's captured, Hamas could care less about him being a POW, but the US government would have to advocate for him. Now, whether they would be effective or not, I don't know, but I just wanted that protection.
Yeah.
And I only wanted him to go in areas that were covered by the Iron Dome. Just, again, protective mom stuff. So still working on it.
I think you're trying to protect your legacy and making sure that guy or girl, whoever goes over there, doesn't just take a soldier or fortress. They come over with this badass story from Hamas, and you're like, "Hey, kill this guy. He's way too good."
Yeah, but
that's messing with
I'm
you.
in Florida. We got access to alligators, right? So I got the moat, I got the alligators set up, all protected.
Well, if you watch the new Roadhouse, there's crocodiles there. So, not sure if you guys have seen the new Roadhouse movie yet. Pretty legit.
Yeah,
Conor McGregor. He is great in that. He is great in that movie. Yeah.
So hard question. Soldier of Fortune magazine, of course, has its own reputation, right? That preceded you buying it. And it was kind of like the guy in the woods with the M16 and the aluminum hat, kind of like that's what people thought about the reader of how are you bringing it, like, I guess, kind of bringing it up to date, modernizing it, and kind of changing that reputation to being more of a what it was originally meant to be, like, soldiers, guys that do security, sharing their stories, and then sharing what's going on in the world, and kind of being more of a legit independent press forum instead of people just telling war stories or whatever.
Well, that's a really good question, and that actually has been like something that I've been really focused on. So like I come from the background of legitimate journalism, like Washington Times. I was a reporter, and was an editor at Series Play, and I was with People Magazine like for a very long time, and Time Magazine. So I come from a background of really strong journalism and standards of journalism. So like I impose those on my content, and my writers stay as far away from politics as I can. So I don't get into the whole, MAGA versus woke stuff. Like I stay away from that argument 100%. But I'll write about, like, everything has to be documented. So if there is, we did a story that a kid had a toy gun in a Zoom class for his school, and he was showing the teacher, "Look, this is what I got for my birthday," and it was clearly a toy gun.
I think I remember this happening. I remember the story. Then the kid gets suspended or expelled or whatever,
and the police came to the house and all this stuff. So
right.
So I did write about that, just because that was factual. We reported on that, and this did happen, and people can draw their own conclusions. And I have taken a political stance regarding Hamas. So
it seems like a very easy one to take. You don't like a terrorist organization. You know what I mean? Like, but other people don't realize that, I think.
Well, there was I don't want to tag them as being Hamas, but there have been some Arab advocacy groups in this country that are very sophisticated, and they're very well funded, and they're quite mainstream. Not going to name them, but they peppered me pretty heavily, like wanting me to write their material and present their side, and said, oh, they wanted me to write about like negative stories about Israel. And I wrote back to him. I
You
said,
send him
hey,
a link to the shirt.
yeah, I will. So I said, hey, I didn't see where you guys put out a press release condemning the attack. Can you please send me that press release?
Yeah. Yep.
And they didn't. So
Yeah, that generally seems to be the easy way to
Shocking.
stymie that whole. And the sad thing
There's
is,
a couple of them. There's more than one. I mean,
yeah, but
supporting Arab countries who haven't taken in one refugee.
yeah, well, like the sad thing is, there are definitely two sides.
First sent $1 of their oil money to go feed the
Yeah,
starving
well,
people in Gaza.
there are
They haven't
definitely
sent
two
$1
sides to
over.
every story, and that's, I mean, there are innocent victims on both sides.
100%.
The Palestinians, but you have to make a
Always is.
distinction between the difference between Hamas and Palestinians. There are Palestinians that are in Hamas. You know what I mean? But they're like, Hamas is not all of not all Palestinians believe in what Hamas believes in or even want it to be a thing. That being said, you know, if the group that wants you to like kind of print their propaganda can't even say Hamas is a terrorist organization, well, I can see where that would be a very big tripping hazard right at the get go.
yeah, that's for me, that's a hard no.
Yeah,
and then,
it's if you can't like, even if you were American and Americans did something as bad as what Hamas did when they invaded Israel, if you can't say, hey, you know, this bunch of American soldiers went here, killed all of these people, you know, sexually assaulted.
It's happened, and we've sent those commanders and those people to jail.
If you can't look at
We
that group of
condemn
people
it.
and be like, yeah, no, that's not what we're about. Like, they are horrible. We don't like it. That's not what we're doing. If you can't do that with your own people, like, there's something wrong up here. There's nothing that has ever happened in the history of the world that makes doing that in the present day okay.
And I put out a statement
People were
saying,
cheering it, not just like, and I'm not saying all, like you said, Palestinians are that way, but there was cheering and chanting, and everybody was happy in the streets when it happened, and those were civilians as well.
I said, you have no real estate on my site, like none.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
none.
it's also
And then,
it's very
like, how many Jews live over there? How many Jews live in all those other Arab countries? Freaking none. But then you have plenty that live in
true.
Israel. You know, well, it's pretty.
It's just not true. There are Christians and Jews that live all over.
I looked at a stat.
All right, we're starting to get into a holy war here.
The point that I was going to make is that it's like, to understand the amount of hate that area of the world, like, most Americans can't understand. Like, you think that you've seen, like, people, like, you know, Nick was talking about earlier, the guy saying, you know, that he was racist and he hadn't even seen him, right, and all of that stuff. But like, most people in the United States born after 1970 have not witnessed racism. You go to the Middle East and talk about some Jewish people, and you will witness actual real life hatred and racism.
Well, you get it in New York City too, against the
there are people who have experienced racism, but like Buddy's point is, there, like, pretty much you haven't. You've read about it, you've seen movies about it. You know,
but could I wanted to answer the rest of Buddy's question. Is like,
go ahead, yeah,
one of the
absolutely.
other things I've done is, like,
oh, there was a question.
You asked, like, what are you doing to make Soldier of Fortune like legit?
Yeah.
So, right.
Kept talking.
Wasn't me.
I brought on a board of directors who I don't know if you've seen the site, but I've got a meet Team SOF. I brought on a bunch of board of directors, 5 of them, who I am really proud of. I've known these guys for a while and I trust them. And they're big names. So one of them is Eric Prince, whose name you'll probably recognize. Norm Hooten is another one of my board members. Rick Prado, who I'm sure you'll know his name as well. Jan Scruggs, who is an old friend, he founded the Vietnam Wall, and then also John Spencer, who is probably at this point the world's good friend, leading expert on urban warfare, and he's been to Ukraine and Israel, and he literally wrote the book on urban warfare. So I brought in these 5 guys. They're on my board. I trust them implicitly, and I have great respect for them. So there's that. You know, like I've brought them in, and we're not doing what the old Soldier of Fortune used to do, which was, I think they called it go and do. Like they would go downrange, they would send people to fight and to write about it. Like, it's like I'm not sending anybody downrange with a rifle. It's like you're either a journalist or you're kinetic, you know, but you're not both.
Interviewed,
right? It's like,
yeah.
Hey, so I have to cut us off here because we're running into that point in the algorithm in Facebook where they just kind of stop sharing us with people because we're not quite Joe Rogan yet, so we talk for that long. But for those of you watching, really appreciate her jumping on. But I'm marking down some of these times where you're saying things, Susan, that are really important for Soldier of Fortune magazine. So that if you want to go back on the podcast and cut it up and do it, I think our audience, i.e., Veteran Trash Talk and Gruntworks, would be really interested in that board selection that you have and the way forward with Soldier of Fortune. I think that would be tremendous in helping get that. You know, and again, it's not a magazine anymore; it's online. So just getting more subscribers, more people hitting the website. And then more people getting your merch. So how do they go to it? Where do they find Soldier of Fortune magazine now? And where do they get the merch at?
Did you call it? You called it up?
I already know, buddy. I'm friends with Susan.
And I've got a handy little ad. I've got rudimentary merch up. I'm going to be coming out with a new line of merch. So people can get the traditional, like the beret with the cross knives. They can get that. But I'm going to be getting some more stuff, some more merch for people. I'm on Facebook. So far, they haven't shut me down yet, but there's been a threat.
They're trying to, though.
Yeah, that's been a threat.
What happens when you tell the truth. Yep.
They demonetized me. They stopped sharing my stuff. Then they remonetized me, but they're still not sharing my stuff. So it's been a.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're getting to the point now where they're not sending our stuff out at this long, an hour 30. Like our videos not even getting sent to people anymore. Like they suck. So yeah, that's right, Facebook. You suck.
We love you. Like don't kick us off, Facebook. Like you're the best.
Oh, well, that's a genius platform.
It's really badly run. Like remember when they shut me down because they said I was sharing terrorist content? You know, like.
Yeah. We got shut, but Dave, you're like muted or we can't hear you. But they shut us down for inciting violence by saying "Happy Birthday, Devil Dogs."
Well,
on the Marine Corps birthday.
My trick of using the kittens works really well. So
I told you that. That was my idea. I said you got to throw a picture. Oh, yeah, you got to do kittens or kittens. You put a picture.
I did the kittens, right? You said we're just innocent little kitten watchers, kitten lovers, and like the guys, the audience loves it. Like they're getting into it. Like they love the whole kitten.
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it. Like it is what it is. But no, awesome. I look forward to helping you promote Soldier of Fortune. So anything that you guys are doing or drives you got going, just reach out to us and we'll put it out on our platform. But yeah, I think it's at about an hour and 25 minutes if you're listening. Because again, the things in the links in the chat, the softmag.com. But for those of you who download our podcast and listen to it, all right, go to softmag.com. All right, and check out and go to about an hour 25 into the podcast and the new board of directors she has on and the way forward with it. So it's pretty awesome. So hey, thanks Susan for coming on, buddy. You get to do the AR.
Oh God, hey, so look forward to our trip. All 4 of us going to the Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes, apparently,
I can't wait. This will be fun.
It's gonna.
Oh yeah,
we're going.
It's gonna be called the No Pants Dance Tour. We're gonna just run through there. Do this style and look at the owl that we don't know what it means because Dave didn't do his homework.
We're gonna bring mice. We're gonna
yet.
bring mice to throw to the owl. Just to.
If anybody wants to sponsor Dave, you can go to his a grassroots money. Like you just send him money for Valtrex. That'd be great because he's got it's a thing on its lip that has a thing on its lip. Yeah,
It's got a name now.
Yeah, Herbie.
George.
Herbie. It's the son, guys. He lives in Arizona. It gives him a bump. Anyway, and then go to Soldier of Fortune magazine. I was actually just going through the one on my phone and kind of looking at all the stories. It's got all the board members that Susan was just talking about. But it's just Soldier of Fortune. Soldieroffortune.com, I think Susan's what
Softmag.
Softmag. Sorry. Softmag. That sounds like something I used to hide underneath my mattress. So
see, there you go. Right?
Just go to Softmag. Don't spell it incorrectly, or go to a different website, and that's not good. So go to softmag.com and check out Soldier of Fortune magazine. It's not your grandpappy's Soldier of Fortune magazine. I was actually just kind of scrolling through the story of the guy that was talking about the ranger that was talking about missing war. So there's stuff that while you're in the military or even out of the military or doing whatever, you can still relate to. So check it out. And thanks, Susan, for being on the show. It was awesome to have you. Great to talk to you. And that's the AAR.
It was great being here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Susan, final words. You got anything else?
I just want to say I love what you guys do. Anything I can do to help you guys or partner with you, give a shout. I will, I guess I shouldn't say pimp you out, but I will help.
I mean, Dave's
okay,
used to that.
Yeah.
He's
There is
good
that. I
looking,
didn't want to say.
Now. But we actually could probably get him at a discount.
You just
now.
He's got to put saran wrap on his face. That's it.
Just gotta get. It's a cold sore.
Hold that thought for Bohemian Grove. Like maybe they'll have almonds. I don't know. But yeah, no, this is great. I loved being here. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you having me. Like very much.
Thank you so much for coming on, Susan. I'm definitely going to look into it. It was a long time ago when I read it, but I'm going to definitely look back into it now. And then for everybody that tuned in late, make sure you go check out VeteranTrashTalk.com. That is our website that has the links to our podcast, YouTube, our merch. Today I'm wearing the Fuck Hamas shirt. You can see it on the screen there. QR code. Big Earl's wearing the OG Veteran Trash Talk shirt. That was our very first one. And Buddy, of course, did not contribute to the team as usual.
I'm wearing the
He's wearing the he's wearing the Rambo necklace that Rambo 2 that she gave.
That's cute. That's cute.
I will be getting this my safety one. I plan on wearing that to some training here pretty soon. That'll be fun.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. Come check us out. We'll be back next Saturday. Boom.
This is a food warning. The UN warns of an unprecedented global hunger crisis. In fact, it's predicted by 2030 that 800 million folks will struggle to feed their families, which means two dangerous things for you. Number one, higher prices at the grocery store. Number two, less food available. And when panic strikes, it will be chaos, making it even harder to get the food your family needs to survive. That's why it's vital, more than ever, to have a survival food stockpile. Introducing the deluxe 3-month survival food kit from 4 Patriots. It has 688 servings of meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with delicious recipes like pancakes, mac and cheese, Aztec chili, and potato soup. They've even got spaghetti and lasagna. This isn't your typical survival food, and over 200,000 smart Americans agree. This is survival food that actually tastes good. But best of all, it's designed to last up to 25 years. You can stash it away and be confident that when a disaster strikes, you and your family will be ready. Go to 4patriots.com/VTT to get the deluxe 3-month survival food kit and the peace of mind